Can you hear me at home now? Could you, if someone could type in the chat? Okay. How is the volume? Okay. I'll take loud over non-existent. Okay, I think that should be better. We haven't spoken, Liz. That's why the sound is gone. We're not talking. As soon as I'm talking, we'll put it back on. I think we can begin.
Okay.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Community Education Council District 2's meetings. My name is Craig Slutskin. I'm the president of the council. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. If we can have everyone's attention, hopefully we can have no side chatter in the audience. Is this better? I'll have it very close. So I'll start over again. Hold on one second, I just need to record, sorry. Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Welcome to Community Education Council District 2's August meetings. My name is Craig Slutskin, I'm the president of the council. I'm going to move directly to the calendar meeting. In the absence of a secretary, I will take attendance. Pri Boparai is absent. Allison Bowen is absent. Daniela Egorov.
Here.
Daniela Egorov is here. Gavin Healy.
Here.
Gavin Healy is here. Charles Love is absent. Sonal Patel is absent. Jessica Savage is absent. Sarah Schechter Ehrenberg is absent. Sabina Serenise Sabina Serenise is absent. Leonard Silverman is absent. Craig Slutskin is present. Just for the record, Sabina Serenise and Jessica Savage have excusals. And that means we have 3 members present. We do not have a quorum. So, as I said, unfortunately, we do not have a quorum for this evening's meeting. As such, we're limited in what we can do, including any voting on resolutions. Any resolutions from this evening will be held over to our September meeting. Unless there are any objections from the fellow council members, I will also postpone the annual meeting where we would be voting on the 3 remaining vacant officer positions. Any objections? Okay. So for this meeting, this is what we're going to do. I'll give a very brief president's report, then we'll go into the superintendent's report, which tonight will be presented by the Deputy Superintendent, Kelly Shannon. Then we'll go into a public session where members of the public may speak on any issues they deem relevant to our council. From there, we will adjourn the meeting. I do apologize for anyone that came down expecting to vote on Resolution 259, but feel free nonetheless to speak about it in the public session if you care to. On the President's report, not a ton that I wanted to go through this evening, but first, we have appointed 2 new student members who will start with us next month. Superintendent and I believe Jennifer Greenblatt have met with both of them and are very excited for them to be joining us. As a reminder, we are allowed to have up to 2 student members. They participate. They do not vote. They do not have a formal vote. Second, as a reminder, we have a vacancy on our council. I will encourage anyone who has interest to apply. Remember, this is the ELL seat, so to be eligible, you need to be the parent or guardian of a child in District 2 who currently is or has been in the past designated with ELL. You can find out more details on our homepage, www.cecd2.org, or you can speak to a council member after this meeting, but please remember, you apply directly to FACE. Don't send your application to any of your council members. You can get the application link from our website. We did receive a couple of applications, but unfortunately, none of them were eligible for the seat. The reminder that the first day of school is Thursday, September 12th, I believe, 5th. And finally, we'll talk more about this next month when the full council will be here, but many of you saw that Jennifer Greenblatt, our amazing and longtime family leadership coordinator, has announced her retirement effective this fall. She has been a wonderful force in our district and will be missed greatly. But let's talk a little bit more about that next month. Okay, so before we go on to the superintendent's report, we do have a sign-up sheet in front. We'll have one public session because we're not hearing resolutions tonight. So please sign. Did you raise your hand?
Yeah, Craig, yeah. The agenda has 2 public sessions, and I don't think the speaking sessions are contingent on the resolutions. I mean, many people speak in the second public session after the superintendent's report because there's something in the superintendent's report, is important to them and they want to talk about it, or they can really talk about anything. But I mean, we have it on the agenda. As long as people have signed up for the first and the second, and people want to speak, we should let the people speak.
Well, that's why we have the public session after the superintendent's report. If they have any comments, they can. Depending on how many people we have, I have no objection to extending it past the 2 minutes, so we don't have that many people here tonight.
Well, we had the first public speaker session on the agenda before the superintendent's.
And unfortunately, we don't have a full meeting. We don't have a formal meeting because we don't have a quorum. Under the requirements of the open meetings law, and I went through this with FACE, we're required in this event to have 1 public speaker session.
We agreed on the agenda, and if you want to change the agenda, we should have the consent of 7 members of the council to change the agenda.
Unfortunately, we don't have that, and we don't have a meeting.
So we can't change the agenda.
We don't have a meeting tonight. We're going to have 1 public session.
You don't want to listen to the people? I'm
happy to listen to the people. We have a public session, and I'm willing to extend it past the 2 minutes.
Let's see how many people sign up, and let's let them speak.
And how about we will have 1 public session, which is the requirement under the education rule.
And we'll let them speak for 4 minutes?
We'll see how many sign up. I can't see from here, Gavin. You might have better vision than me, but I cannot see from here how many people signed up. So,
if people want to speak, we should let them speak.
Deputy Superintendent, you may speak now. You may present.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here to meet with all of you. I'm thank you to our CEC members and to all of our community stakeholders here this evening. A few updates from the summer. I want to start off by first giving a debt of gratitude to Dr. Reggie Higgins, my partner and our deputy superintendent, who helped organize and support Summer Rising, which was a great success in our district. We finished a really successful summer program. We stayed strong and had many students in attendance. Over the summer, our elementary and middle school students continued high-quality reading, writing, and math curriculum, and we focused on foundational literacy in a very deep way with our early grades as an ongoing continuation of the work of our district. This year, we included the Dream Summer Program for all our L and multilingual learners at PS 111 to build English language acquisition skills, as well as offer instruction in Spanish. It was a very successful program. At PS 124, we partnered with the artist Domingo Zapata, who conducted and taught infusing literacy with art skills, and the students created really inspiring, beautiful art pieces, which I personally had the opportunity to see when I was visiting Summer Rising. I want to give a thank you to the District 2 team. This summer we continued a robust set of professional learning opportunities in mathematics, and literacy, and climate and culture. We had 2 cohorts of 8th grade teachers who were preparing for our regions school for all of those professional learning sessions. So they range from foundational literacy to our work with this, to our Washington math, to science CT, to ways in which we're focusing on topics of practice in our schools, and our school counselors, and workers and teachers. I want to thank all of the school leaders, our district team, and our teachers who showed up this summer in great numbers to be part of this opportunity. It's always a joy for me to be teachers and be learning alongside and with them. As we begin the run-up to the start of the 24-25 school year, we're looking at this university week and the job and support that we provide all of our elementary schools to our 80 student districts. We look forward to coaching visits, walkthroughs, and visits, and we will be hosting a series this year of visits that will be open to CEC members, SLT, and PTA members to really give a glimpse into the practices in action across our school communities. The same for when we look ahead for our New York City work with the New York City Solves work. So much of the emphasis is on job embedded support. Craig already mentioned this, but I could not speak tonight without recognizing and expressing the deep sense of gratitude we all have in the district for the work that Jennifer Greenblatt has done for 21 plus years in District 2. She has been a thought partner, mentor, colleague, friend, and a fierce advocate for all that we want to do in District 2 and continue to do. We will be honoring Jennifer in the fall, but it was really important that we take this opportunity to thank her, both personally as someone who's been friends with her from a long time, when she knew me when I just became a principal many years ago, all the way up until this new role. So thank you to Jennifer Greenblatt and all that you have done for our district. And I end on this note. I always think about this time of year, and I've been visiting schools this past week. I was actually at one of our schools before I came here this afternoon. And I want to just highlight the excitement and joy of our school leaders who are getting their buildings ready to welcome their teachers in, to then welcome our children in, to welcome our families in, and all of our community members. There's this moment that happens where you realize there's just all this possibility in front of us for a new year to create that sense of belonging and inclusion and opportunity for children to really be excited and have a joyful sense of learning, both that is academically rigorous as well as helping them celebrate all that they bring to our school community. So we look forward to first day of school, to seeing all of you at next month's meeting and the ongoing work of District 2. Thank you for allowing me some time to present this evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Are there questions from the members of the council for our deputy superintendent? And I'm going to note that Councilmember Boparai has arrived. Okay, thank you. So, see how many people speakers. And take both of them, please. How many do we have?
We have total 11.
Okay. I have no objections to extending it. We're only having the one session to 4 minutes. Are there any from 2 minutes? Are there any? There's not that many people in general. Are there any objections to that? To giving people 4 minutes? Okay. So we'll go. Councilmember Boparai will call out the names and she will time people. Keep it to the 4 minutes. The lectern is over there. And please speak into the mic. Whenever you're ready.
So we'll start off with good evening, everyone. We'll start off with Ms. Daniels.
Yes. Where? Oh. I'm gonna break it all. My bad. I should just try and do teacher voice and skip the mic, but I guess we're talking online. Good evening, everybody. So glad for the folks who could turn out, and we really appreciate the 4 council members who came out tonight. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to be first. My bad. No, I'm good. You know, it's small enough today anyway that we're probably just like, yeah. And I wasn't stressed about 2 sessions. Cool. So my name is Elena Daniels, and my pronouns are she or they, or really anything other than he. I'm a white, queer, trans, neurodivergent, non-binary trans woman teacher. I think at this point, basically everyone in the room knows me. So why bother introducing myself? I don't even really know. Maybe it's for the folks who are online. I have the honor of having been a teacher in New York City schools for this will be my 13th year when we start in a couple weeks. Mostly teaching middle school science, activism, sex ed. These days, I'm also the co-founder and executive director of Transformative Schools, an after-school program for trans and queer kids that's launching a middle school in a year. You know, the main thing I want to say tonight is thank you. Thank you to Gavin, Sonal, Jessica, and Sarah in absentia for authoring and sponsoring tonight's resolution. My favorite sentence is the last one. Therefore, be it resolved that CEC2 hereby rescinds Resolution 248. Doesn't that sound great? I believe that passing this resolution next month, I guess, because it's being held off for tonight because we don't have a quorum, is really important, is a way to try and step back some of the harm that has happened, and also to listen to all the public who keeps turning out after meeting, after meeting, after meeting. And so thank you all for being here tonight too, particularly despite the fact that my invitation came this morning. And thank you to, again, for everybody who's here serving, you know, in the middle of August. Bum, bum, bum.
too many things. Over the course of, in my 12 years at New York City schools, I've been the first adult that at least 75 students have told they were queer or trans. I like to think this happens because I make my classroom a safe space, or a safe enough space where they can see themselves in me and in the curriculum. And coming out is an incredibly fraught emotional process that's hard for cisgender heterosexual people to understand, since you're so used to existing in a world that sees your gender and sexuality as normal. Coming out, especially for trans kids, requires sharing a deeply personal part of oneself. It requires incredible bravery in a world where trans youth have been taught that there's something fundamentally wrong with them since the moment they were first born and a doctor glanced at their genitalia and assigned them a label that would permanently define their life. I'm so proud to have been the adult who could make these students feel safe enough, seen enough, and loved enough to share. It's not my career, but rather my ministry to reappropriate my Catholic upbringing, to put myself between these incredibly vulnerable students and the violent oppression that exists in our world. I hope and pray daily that I can make my classroom a space safe enough for kids to learn to do math and science, to read and write, and to grow as leaders and activists in our world. However, existing in this world as a woman and as a teacher who's visibly trans is exhausting. It means being erased, traumatized, and often attacked basically everywhere I go. It means being forced to teach my students from apolitical math and science textbooks that include problems such as there are 120 students in 6th grade, 70 of them are boys, what percentage are girls? It means watching panels of powerful cisgender people make decisions about your life without including anyone with lived and professional experience in the decision-making process, both here today and the meeting I was at on Monday with the mayor and at CB5, which was Craig's former board a couple months ago or last month. I don't know, it's all starting to blur together and summer became a wormhole. And it means that every time I lead a field trip, my students need to experience well-intentioned adults in our city, stopping them to let them know that their teacher is a dangerous man. It means having students, parents, and grandparents grab my breasts during school assemblies and give me back rubs during parent-teacher conferences. It also means being virtually powerless when my 13-year-old, and I will say this till later because I hit my 4 minutes, other than to say thank you again for drafting that resolution, and I really hope we can pass it next month. It's all good. We are a quiet, small evening tonight anyway. And also, if anybody wants some pizza, we've got a bunch left over. It's fresh and from across the street. Next.
We have Tamika Nurse Carter. We have Lahida Pravan, and I apologize.
Sorry, testing, 1, 2, 3. Everyone can hear me clearly? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Everyone can hear me clearly? Thank you so much for having me here. I would like to say, as a proud native New Yorker, someone who went to New York City public schools my entire life, and someone who is myself 19 and trans and queer, and has the wonderful privilege of living with a trans and queer person who goes to New York City public schools, and having known many wonderful trans and queer people who go to New York City public schools, and having been in youth leadership programs such as student government myself, I can very easily attest to the amazing power of youth leadership and the importance of trans inclusion, especially in after-school activities. I think the main reason is because I feel like being young is just such a very vulnerable place, not just in public schools, but just everywhere, because everyone is telling you what to do, who to be, and how to behave. And so having safe spaces and access to people who let them speak their mind and express themselves and have their own voice is just such an important thing. I feel like a lot of how students are motivated, not just in New York City public schools, but just across the board, has a lot to do with external motivation. You must do this, you'll be punished if you do that. So having youth spaces centered around their interests and a place for them to express themselves and building their intrinsic motivation and self-esteem is so important, especially in queer and trans students who are more likely to not have those spaces and also to struggle with self-esteem, because self-expression is vital to a child's self-esteem and self-development. And so having just youth leadership-based spaces and queer and trans-friendly spaces, especially after-school programs that are based around their interests and not their academics and performance, is incredibly important. And something I'd like to see more of in New York City public schools. I've heard people talk about social and emotional learning and having trauma-informed counselors, which is very important. Another thing I'd like to see more of in New York City public schools is public demonstrations or PSAs regarding real lived experience of signs of abuse and trauma in students, especially regarding in-home domestic violence. As from my lived experience, unfortunately, I can say that increased, that having interventions of people who have lived experience at home domestic violence decreases the likelihood of bullying and school violence, and having people who are trained to intervene is important. And I think the biggest thing I want to get out of here, because I'm a little scrambled, I'm sorry, thank you so much for listening to me, by the way, is just having a space, especially for queer and trans young people in New York City, in schools across the country, but especially in this lovely city of New York, to have a safe space to express themselves and to have a safe space in non-academic settings to build their self-esteem and intrinsic motivation with youth leadership. I think we need more youth leadership, and in places like after-school sports. And I can, and if anyone wants to speak to me what I know regarding that, you are free to contact me however you like. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, do we have Liz? Liz Tomasetti. Welcome. Turn it on, please.
Yes, can you hear me? All right, everyone. My name is Liz. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a queer cis parent from District 15, and I have been coming to these meetings for quite some time now. I'm terrified of speaking, but I'm doing it tonight. So, 2 years ago, due to a transphobic PTA and administration at my child's school, she was granted a safety transfer by the district superintendent's office. At that time, my child was only 7 years old. Do any of you have children that have had to request a safety transfer? Do any of you have children who understand the safety in hiding their identity? Do any of you have children that ask whether a newly elected politician will protect them? Have any of you had your child's existence questioned publicly every day? Why would you choose to hurt an already vulnerable child in your community? When you applied for your role here in this council, you agreed with your signature to be driven by the needs of all students, not just your own. By continuing to support Resolution 248, you are not supporting all students, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Oops, turn it on. Hello, everyone. All right, apologies for my tardiness. Welcome back. I hope that everybody got some sun and some rest this summer. My name is Dr. Megan Pamela Ruth Madison, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am an educator, facilitator, and author, and I have the distinct honor of chairing the board of Transformative Schools, a visionary after-school program led by Ro and Elena that serves trans kids here in District 2. The main thing I want to say today is thank you. Thank you, Gavin, Sonal, Jessica, and Sarah for authoring and sponsoring today's resolution. My favorite sentence is the last one. Therefore be it resolved that CEC2 hereby rescinds resolution number 248. Doesn't that sound so good? I believe that passing this resolution will be an important step in the process of healing and transformation for our shared community. When I lead anti-racism workshops for teachers and families, one of the things that I teach is the difference between intent and impact. Intent is what we were trying to do, what we were hoping to achieve with our actions. For example, last school year, I heard Pri, Len, and Craig justify their support of Resolution 248 by talking about the benign intentions. The problem is that intentions and impact aren't the same thing. Quite often, in my own life and all of our lives, we can have really good intentions and still cause harm. Resolution 248 is a clear example. Since it was passed, we've heard clearly and consistently from members of the trans community that regardless of your intentions, the impact was harmful. When this happens, we need to be accountable for our impact. We need to listen to the people who are hurt and then play an active role in repairing that harm. Today's resolution begins that process. We can have a great school year this year. Let's build it together. Daniela, I know you didn't like my first book, Our Skin, A First Conversation About Race, but I've written more than one, and this most recent one called We Care, A First Conversation About Justice, is a roadmap to healing and transformative justice, the kind of healing and transformative justice that I believe that all of the kids and families in District 2 deserve. So I brought you all a copy. I'm happy to sign it. It belongs to you all. Thank you.
Anybody else who did not get a chance to speak, who wishes to speak tonight? There's nobody, there's nobody on the side of this. You want to speak? You can't have that. Because you hear it. That's it. If you want to speak. Sure.
I mean, as far as I understand, this resolution is about setting up a panel to look into whether or not female identified males can compete with females in youth sports. Is that correct? Yeah, we have two choices essentially. We can either allow anyone to compete with anyone, totally open category, essentially, you know, redistributing the layout of what female sports ends up looking like very drastically, just fine. You know, I have no skin in the game there. I do have a daughter, but you know, sports is sports, whatever. Or you have to acknowledge biological sex. Those are the two, because it's a protected category, right? The female category, it's protected, right? And you know, so either we have the protected category, which is, you know, biologically based, or we don't, in which case, like I said, like some sports won't be all that affected, other sports you wouldn't see a female ever again. Either way, I'm not big into sports, I'm indifferent, but let's not delude ourselves. I'm not into affirming delusions generally, so let's not delude ourselves as to what going down this path, you know, playing the movie forward all the way, what this would lead to. You know, generally speaking, either you have a female category or you don't. That's it.
there anybody else here tonight who did not get an opportunity to speak? Who wishes to speak, sorry. Okay, and there was nobody on, I don't think there's anybody on the second, there was nobody on the second signer's sheet. That being said, our next meeting will be Wednesday, September 18th. We'll hopefully have a quorum and be able to set a schedule of meetings for the upcoming year that night. I wish to thank everybody. I apologize again that we did not have a quorum and we could not consider the resolution. I suspect that we will do that next month. Otherwise, if public session's over, we can have it back and forth. I will stay a little bit after. If anybody wants to have a one-on-one with me, I'm happy to stay. We don't know yet. I don't know. Victor and I will work together and we'll figure out a place. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your summer, everybody, and we'll see you in a few weeks. And remember, September 5th, first day of school.
Yeah.